All right, trainers. Ready to take on the Gigantamax challenge.
Oh yeah, these new raids have really been shaking things up in the Pokemon Go world.
The buzz is real, that's for sure. Some trainers are loving these intense battles,
Yeah.
but others are finding them a bit overwhelming, to say the least.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
hmm
How one single feature can spark such different reactions, in the gaming community. It really highlights the challenge that game developers face when they try to introduce something new and engaging without alienating some of their players.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Okay.
We're going to unpack the whole Gigantamax raid experience through the eyes of 1Z, a trainer from a suburban community near London.
Okay.
1Z's been leading their team through these battles, and their insights are going to help us understand the good, the bad, and the ugly of these encounters.
Yeah, and what really intrigues me is the team aspect of it.
Yeah.
1Z mentioned their team is a mix of, casual players
Right.
and those really dedicated players, which I think is a dynamic we see in a lot of online games.
Yeah, for sure.
So it'll be really interesting to see how they navigate the challenge of, coordinating, strategizing,
Yeah.
all of that as a group.
Definitely. And speaking of challenges, uh, for those who haven't encountered these behemoths yet,
Right.
just picture this, okay?
Okay.
Supersized Pokemon, way more powerful than their regular Dynamax forms.
Wow.
They appear in these special raids that require a whole bunch of trainers to take down.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, throwing attacks out there. It's about strategy, resource management, knowing when to unleash those powerful moves.
And resource management is key, especially in a game like Pokemon Go, where, some of those resources can be really scarce.
Oh, yeah.
And, 1Z mentioned these things called max particles,
Yeah.
which are essential for even participating in these raids.
Right. Max particles, they're a special resource that you need even just to enter a Gigantamax raid.
Yeah,
And they can be really hard to come by,
definitely.
especially if you're, not willing to spend real world money to get more.
Exactly. So players need to be really strategic about how they use them. It's like this balancing act
Yeah.
between wanting to participate in these, really exciting raids, but also conserving those resources
Right.
for those future battles.
So Wenzi's team decided to tackle GMax Venusaur first.
Okay.
They rallied an impressive group of 38 trainers for this battle.
Wow.
It took them 6 minutes to take down this giant leafy behemoth.
6 minutes?
6 minutes might not sound like a long time,
Right.
but trust me, in the world of Pokemon Go, that's a pretty intense battle.
Yeah.
And this is where the resource drain comes in. 1Z said this victory took a huge chunk
Wow.
out of their max particle reserve.
Oh, that makes sense. These battles are designed to be challenging.
Yeah.
And that level of difficulty often comes at a cost, right?
Right.
I'm curious to see, though, how they, adapted their strategies
Yeah.
as they continued this Gigantamax journey.
Well, that's where things start to get really interesting.
Oh.
As they moved on to GMax Blastoise, they started noticing a decline in the player count.
Oh, really?
By their third battle, they were down to like less than 20 trainers.
Ooh.
It seems like keeping a solid team together for these raids
Yeah.
was a challenge in itself.
Yeah.
And 1Z really emphasized how important it was to have healers on the team.
Healers are absolutely crucial in these, prolonged battles like this. They can really mitigate damage, keep the team going, and ultimately just increase your chances of success.
For sure.
So 1Z's insight there really highlights, how important it is to understand your team composition.
Right.
And recognizing the value of different roles in a challenging encounter.
And speaking of insights, 1Z actually documented their entire Gigantamax raid experience, breaking it down into the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Okay, cool.
It's a fantastic resource for any trainer who's looking to, tackle these raids.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear more from 1Z directly, make sure you like and subscribe to their channel.
Yes.
We'll be sure to leave a link in the description.
Awesome. It's always valuable to learn from the experiences of other players, especially those who've, bravely ventured into new territory. I'm really eager to hear more about, 1Z's observations and see if we can extract some broader lessons about, game design, strategy, and the dynamics of online communities.
Absolutely. So trainers, if you've already battled these Gigantamax giants,
Yeah.
Be sure to share your experiences in the comments below.
Yes.
Let us know what stood out to you, what you found challenging, and what advice you'd give to other trainers
Mm-hmm.
who are preparing for their own Gigantamax encounters.
Onesies journey through these Gigantamax raids
Yeah.
really highlights that mixed bag you get with any new game feature.
Mhm.
So let's dive a bit deeper into their breakdown of, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
So on the good side of things,
Yeah.
1Z really appreciated the social aspect of these raids.
Okay.
It's not just about, tapping your phone screen alone.
Right.
It's about coordinating with other trainers.
Yeah.
Strategizing together, experiencing that thrill of victory, but as a team.
Right.
They also loved how it brought a new level of challenge to Pokemon Go.
That sense of community and challenge is something that a lot of players crave.
Yeah.
Especially in a game that's, been criticized for being too easy sometimes or a little repetitive.
Yeah.
Gigantamax raids seem to offer that, fresh and engaging experience that pushes players to, think strategically and work together.
1Z also highlighted the flexible timing of the raids
Okay.
as a positive thing.
Yeah.
They refresh hourly, which gives players that freedom to choose when they want to participate.
Right.
This is especially helpful for, trainers with busy schedules
Yeah.
or those who live in areas with, different peak playing times.
Flexibility in gameplay is always a plus.
Yeah.
It caters to a wider range of players,
Mm-hmm.
and it lets them really integrate the game into their lives
Yeah.
without, feeling pressured to play at a specific time.
Right.
But of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows with these Gigantamax encounters.
No,
1Z definitely had their fair share of bad experiences as well.
they did.
They pointed out the steep cost of entry as a major downside.
Yeah.
800 max particles per battle.
That's a lot.
It is. It's a significant investment, especially if you're not, earning them quickly
Right.
or resorting to spending real-world money.
Exactly.
That cost barrier raises concerns about accessibility.
Yep.
It could create a divide between players who can afford to participate often
Right.
and those who are limited by, their resource pool.
Mm-hmm.
This is something developers really need to think about carefully, how to balance that challenge and exclusivity of a feature
Right.
without making it feel, pay to win.
They also encountered some frustrating technical issues,
Really?
specifically with the move Max Guard.
Okay.
It's supposed to protect your Pokemon from attacks,
Right.
but 1Z found that it wasn't working as intended.
Oh, that's frustrating.
Yeah, and it led to, wasted resources and setbacks.
Max Guard's such a crucial defensive tool,
Mm.
especially when you're facing these powerful Gigantamax Pokemon.
Right.
If it's not working properly, it just throws off the whole strategic balance.
Yeah.
Players need to feel confident that those game mechanics are consistent and predictable.
For sure.
Bugs like that can really sour the experience.
And speaking of unpredictable, they also had issues with dodging being inconsistent.
Oh, wow.
Like sometimes they would successfully avoid an attack, right? But other times, they'd get hit even when they thought they had dodged correctly.
Dodging is another core mechanic in those Pokemon Go battles.
Mhm.
And if it's not working reliably, it can feel, unfair,
Yeah,
frustrating.
definitely.
Players need to trust that the game is responsive
Yeah,
and feel like their actions, are actually having an impact on the battle.
right.
Technical issues like that can really undermine the whole enjoyment
Mm-hmm.
and the feeling of, accomplishment.
That brings us to the ugly.
Okay.
The things about Gigantamax raids that left 1Z feeling a bit disheartened.
Yeah.
One of their biggest concerns was the accessibility for rural players.
Right.
If you need, at least 20 players
Yeah.
with powered up Pokemon.
Right.
Just to have a chance, it's just not feasible for trainers
Yeah.
in areas that are less populated.
That's such a crucial point.
Yeah.
And it ties into the larger issue of the digital divide. Not everyone has the same access to the resources and the infrastructure
Right.
that are needed to fully participate in online gaming communities.
Yeah.
It's something developers need to be mindful of,
Definitely.
especially when they're designing features that really rely on social interaction
Yeah.
and those, in-person gatherings.
1Z also felt that the resource investment
Yeah.
to, power up their team
Mm-hmm.
didn't match the rewards they were getting from these raids.
Okay.
They questioned whether, all the time and effort were worth it.
That's a common thing.
Yeah.
In games with, complex progression systems, players need to feel like their time and effort are being, rewarded in a way that matters.
Right.
If the grind feels too tedious
Yeah.
or the rewards are too small, it can lead to burnout. And players they disengage.
Yeah.
It's a tricky balance for developers to create a rewarding experience.
Right.
That keeps players motivated, but without making it too easy or unrewarding.
And lastly, they pointed out the lack of, compelling in-game incentives to participate in Gigantamax raids.
Okay.
Beyond just the cosmetic appeal of having a Gigantamax Pokemon in your collection.
Yeah.
Now, that might be exciting for some trainers.
Sure.
But others are looking for, more tangible rewards.
Right.
Or progression-based incentives.
Cosmetics are fun.
Yeah.
But they don't always give that long-term motivation
Yeah.
that keeps players coming back.
Yeah.
It's about creating a system of rewards, that aligns with what players are looking for, what they want.
Yeah.
Whether it's rare items, exclusive moves, or, unique gameplay benefits.
Right.
Those tangible rewards can make a big difference in player motivation and longevity.
So Onezie's overall takeaway was that Gigantamax raids have a lot of potential.
Yeah.
But there are some kinks that need to be worked out.
Sounds like there's a real chance here for the developers to listen to this feedback.
Yeah.
And, really take it to heart and make some adjustments.
Right.
By addressing these concerns that players like Onesie have raised.
Yeah.
They can make Gigantamax raids a more inclusive and rewarding experience for everyone.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive into Gigantamax raids,
Okay.
I just want to remind you all to check out Runzie's channel.
Yes.
They've got some great insights and tips for, trainers of all levels.
Definitely.
You can find that link in the description below. It's like Niantic, the developers behind Pokemon GO, are trying to find that balance with these Gigantamax raids.
They want to offer that challenge,
Right.
the one that pushes players, but they also, don't want to make it impossible or inaccessible for a lot of the players.
Exactly. And Onezie's experience really shows that balancing act.
They did manage to, succeed with their team. They did.
But it took a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of coordination, strategic planning, and even like a willingness to use up those valuable resources.
And honestly, not every player is going to have the time,
right?
the resources, or even the dedicated team to have that same success.
And that's where that community feedback is so important.
Oh, for sure.
By listening to the experiences of trainers like Onesie, Niantic can get those insights.
Right.
Into how these raids are actually playing out.
Yeah.
And how people feel about them.
In the real world.
Exactly.
And then they can use that information to make changes.
Yeah.
Fine-tune the mechanics.
Right.
And hopefully make it more balanced and fun for everyone.
For sure.
So what's next?
Yeah. What does the future hold for these Gigantamax raids?
Right. Will Niantic address those concerns that trainers have brought up?
About accessibility, the costs, and the lack of rewards. That's the big question, right?
It is.
Will these raids become like a core part of Pokemon GO? Evolving and changing based on what players are saying? Or will they just fade away?
Right.
Remembered as a good idea?
Yeah.
But ultimately, not quite there.
It didn't work out.
Yeah. Only time will tell.
Yeah.
But one thing's for sure.
I agree.
This is a big moment for Pokemon GO.
A turning point, maybe.
Gigantamax raids have the potential to change the whole game.
Yeah.
Make players work together more and bring in a whole new level of challenge.
Definitely.
But whether or not that happens depends on
how Niantic responds to the players.
And that's where you come in, trainers.
Yeah.
We want to hear your thoughts.
On these Gigantamax raids.
Have you battled these giants?
What strategies are you using?
What are you struggling with?
Yeah, share your experiences.
Yeah, in the comments below.
Let's keep talking about this and help shape, the future of Pokemon GO together.
And if you want more insights from trainers who have taken on these Gigantamax encounters,
definitely
be sure to check out Onezie's channel.
Yes.
They've got so much to share.
Lots of knowledge, tips.
You can find a link in the description below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
To show your support.
Remember, trainers, knowledge is power.
It really is.
Especially in Pokemon GO.
Yeah, the more you know.
About the game, the strategies, the challenges.
You'll be so much better prepared.
To succeed.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Gigantamax raids.
We hope you found it helpful
and insightful.
Until next time, trainers.
Keep exploring.
Keep battling.
And keep catching those Pokemon